guys, so back to school season for a lot of you guys is right around the corner. So let's kick off this back to school season with a high school advice video because I get requests to do this all the time. And I am going to preface this by saying that I went to kind of an unconventional high school in that it was very college preparatory. It had a lot of AP classes and things like that, and it was just a very, I think, different environment than a normal high school, but I did learn a lot, and I do have some things I want to share with you from my experience that will hopefully help you surviving high school. So this is going to be kind of targeted at freshmen because I feel like freshmen are generally the most nervous going back to school because you're usually at a new school. This is kind of things I wish that I knew when I was in high school, or things that I think you guys would want to know or should know going into your freshman year. So let's jump into it. So starting with social life in high school, I know that it's kind of a different vibe from middle school. My school was actually 7th through 12th grade, so I started middle school, so when I entered my freshman year it wasn't that different. But I know for a lot of people you're going to a new school, maybe you don't have any friends who are going there, or you're just kind of nervous about how the social life in high school is going to be. I think I'm just going to start with making friends because once you have a good friend in your life, everything else just kind of falls into place. I strongly believe that. So when I went to middle school, which was kind of like my first day of high school, because it was at this new school, I had one girl that I was friends with, but we didn't have any classes together. That was my friend Maya, so hi Maya, you're the best, but I didn't have her in any of my classes, and I was really scared my first day because I didn't know who to sit next to or who to sit with at lunch because I didn't know where she was going to be, and that was back in the day when I did not have a cell phone. But my advice is just to try to get to know someone in each of your classes. So whoever you're sitting next to, whether you have an assigned seat or whether you pick a seat, just introduce yourself. I know it can be intimidating, especially if it's a boy, but introduce yourself and make a friend because that's one thing throughout high school that I started to learn was how great it is to have guys as friends because up until then I just had good girlfriends. But starting in high school, you start to have guy friends, and guy friends are great. So introduce yourself to that boy or girl sitting next to you, and just be as outgoing as you possibly can be. I used to be a lot more shy, and my first day, I don't think I hardly talked to anyone that I didn't know. So try to just break out of your shell, make that extra effort, because chances are they don't know anyone either, and they're going to be so relieved to have somebody just open up to them and say hi and ask them how their day's going. Maybe find out if you guys have another class together. And if you guys have another class together, then you can sit next to each other again, and then that's an automatic friend. So just try to be really outgoing and introduce yourself because you never know, that person you introduce yourself to on the first day could end up being one of your best friends throughout high school. So make a friend in every class, and then at lunch, maybe make plans with the person who you had the last period with to go get lunch together and sit together. And maybe they already have a group of friends and you guys can all sit together, and that's a good way to meet people. Or you guys are both new and you don't know anyone, and you can try to get together a big group of new kids to all sit together. Next way to meet people is to join a club or start doing a sport or some other after-school activity that's put on by your high school. It's a really, really good way to get involved, to meet new people, and it looks great on your transcript when you're applying for colleges to have lots of extracurricular activities. So I got involved with student government pretty early on. That's a really good organization to get involved in. I did choir, which was actually a class, but it was kind of like an extracurricular because it's something that I enjoy doing. And it's a great way to meet people who you have similar interests to, so whether or not you're into soccer or basketball or volleyball or photography, whatever that is, try to find a club that caters to that or is kind of along your lines of interest, and that's a really good way to meet some people who have the similar interests as you, and a really good way to make some friends. Also in high school, I feel like the whole popularity thing becomes a bigger deal. Maybe that's something people encountered in middle school, but I feel like in high school, especially from like what you see in the movies and stuff like that, it becomes a big deal, and there's like the popular clique, and I mean at my school there really wasn't. It was very much, it was a weird high school like I said, but I've always just believed that it really doesn't matter what other people think of you in a popularity sense. I would much rather have some good friends who I really enjoy being around and who I think I have things in common with, and who are people that I admire and respect, and people who are genuinely nice. I would never want to be friends with someone who was mean to other people or who made me do things that I wasn't comfortable with or that I didn't think were right just to be popular. I just think that's such a waste of time because ultimately you're going to realize that they're not a good person and you will regret being friends with them, and I think life's too short for regrets, so just cut that out and make your friends based off of the people you actually are happy when you're around. Don't waste your time with people who you feel like you have to impress or you feel like you have to be different to be accepted by. So if you want me to do a whole video talking about stuff like that, I definitely can. But in short, just be yourself and find people who love you for yourself, and don't waste time with people who don't, because they don't matter. And it's just, I don't know. I just think it's such a waste of time to put effort into a friendship that you're not getting anything back from. So yeah. Now along those same lines is just like drama in general. I had a really close friend group and we had drama on occasion. But I think one thing I wish I could go back and tell myself was don't engage. Just don't engage in drama. So I think just being honest and not being afraid to stand up for yourself and not being afraid to confront someone if you feel like they did something wrong, and not like talking behind their back or telling your other friends and being like, oh, they did this or oh, they did that and now I'm so mad. Well, if you're mad, talk to them. Tell them you're mad. Tell them why you're upset. And I think that's just a really good way to behave in all your relationships in life, but I think if you can learn that early on in high school, you will save yourself so much heartache and so much drama. And when drama does happen and when things happen that you feel like are the end of the world, you know, like, I don't know, this didn't happen to me, but you know, in all the movies you see like someone spreads a rumor about you or something bad or embarrassing happens. Actually, I did have something embarrassing happen. It wasn't in high school, it was in 8th grade. But like I said, I was at the same school and I had a rolly backpack. I was that kid because my backpack was so heavy I actually threw out my neck one day, so I had to have a rolly backpack for like 6 months. But anyway, I had this rolly backpack and I got out of class and Wednesdays were pizza days. And on pizza day, it was first come, first serve. So literally you would get out of class and you would book it to the pizza line. So my class was actually pretty close to the back of the school where pizza was served. But regardless, I was like afraid I wasn't gonna get my pizza. So I grabbed my rolly backpack and I took off running. And I ate it so bad on the concrete, fully like skinned my hands and knees, and not to mention I was like rolling this rolly backpack behind me which like goes flying and like hits me, and it was just really embarrassing, and a bunch of older kids saw, and I definitely saw some of them laugh, and I was like mortified, and I did not get my pizza that day. And I was just like so embarrassed for the rest of the day, and if that happened to me now, I'd probably be embarrassed for like 5 minutes. And then I would just think it was really funny. Because it so doesn't matter. Like, so what? You fell. Like, 10 years down the line, you might not even remember that. And if you do remember it, you will just look back and laugh. Because a kid falling with a rolly backpack in high school is just a little bit funny. Like, if I was there now, I probably wouldn't laugh at that person because I've been in that situation and it's not fun to be laughed at, but at the same time, you just have to look at it and not take yourself too seriously and just be like, it happens. That was embarrassing. I did an embarrassing thing. Like, oh well, and laugh it off. So, yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts in my head, a lot of stuff I want to share with you. If you have any more specific questions about social life in high school, let me know in the comments below. Those are just kind of my thoughts that came to my mind while I was doing this video. I have everything else written down, see, but I didn't write anything down for this because I was like, I can wing it. I shouldn't have winged it. Awkward. Alright, now we'll stick to the thoughts in here because that's what I had actually organized for you, and we'll talk about school. So, school matters now that you're in 9th grade because that's when colleges start actually looking at your grades, so don't forget that. Just don't get bad grades because yes, people say that colleges look for growth and if you had a hard freshman year, you can still improve, and if they see you're getting A's your sophomore and junior year, then it's not as big of a deal, but just don't even let yourself use that as an excuse. High school may be a really big transition from you and you may slip up and you may not get perfect grades your freshman year, but try your hardest and really don't let yourself be convinced that you can kind of slack or that it doesn't really matter that much, because it definitely does. It's there, it's permanent. You really can't do anything about it once it's happened. And it's no fun to look back later when you're applying for colleges and be like, wow, if I just done my homework or actually studied for my tests, I would have done so much better in my class. But at the same time, don't let yourself be so obsessed with getting perfect grades that you don't have a life. Also, build relationships with your professors. I think it's so stupid that people who get along well with their teachers or have a good rapport with teachers of their classes are like labeled a nerd or like a kiss up or whatever. I think that's so stupid, because these are the people who grade your exams. These are the people who are resources to you to help you with your homework, to help you with material you don't understand, and they're the people who are ultimately going to be writing your letters of recommendation for college. Maybe not the ones you have your freshman year, but it's a good habit to get into. And if you need help in a class, don't be afraid to ask them for help, because I was lucky and I had really nice teachers, and I know that not all teachers are like that, and unfortunately, you know, some of them don't care about their student as much as they can, but it never hurts to ask. It never hurts to just, you know, email them or go into their office hours or just go up to them before or after class and say, hey, I don't get this, could you take 5 minutes and explain it to me, or could you recommend a tutor? And then if they don't provide you with that help and you're not doing well in a class, if you need to go talk to the principal or something like that, or you are not doing well in the class, you can say that you did everything in your power to talk to that teacher and try to get help when you knew you needed it. So try to have a good rapport with teachers, because it will only help you. Along the same lines, go to office hours, take advantage of the resources that are available to you, after school study hours, finals, review sessions, things like that. Finals are kind of a new thing for a lot of people going into high school. I think I have a whole video talking about final study tips, so I'm going to link that right here, and you guys can go check that out if you want. That was made when I was in high school, so I was in the thick of it. College finals are a little bit different, so that could be another video. If you have questions about any schooling related specific grades, let me know in the comments below, and I will definitely do more videos like this. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below, or send me a private message if you want to send me something more personal, or it's not something you feel comfortable commenting in the comments. Let me know, because I really want to hear from you guys. And you can always also find me on all my different social media. We got Twitter, we got Instagram, we got my blog. Please check out my blog. My blog is really cool now. I'm like actually posting on, so definitely check that out. All of that will be linked in the down bar, because I can't link those things on the screen. I don't know why, YouTube. Why won't you let me? Alright, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss one of my videos, and give this video a big thumbs up if you found it at all helpful. Alright, I love you guys so much. I hope you have a great back to school, and I will definitely have some really cool back to school videos. I'm talking about like super cool back to school DIYs and like outfit videos, some collabs coming up. Really exciting things. So again, hit that subscribe button I just stopped myself. I'm way too excited. I love back to school. So make sure you subscribe so you never miss a video or any of this crazy. And that's about it. I will see you guys in my next video. Mwah! Bye guys.